All right. Well, we're live now. Give it just a little bit of time to make sure. I've got a new mic. We'll see how that feels for everybody. We are going to be looking at Space Aces arenas. So that's going to kind of take into consideration some different things. I'm going to actually record a couple clips for the video while we're streaming, which will be kind of fun. And by doing that, I'll get a little bit far ahead. So, let's start. I like having a fairly clean audio file. They are recorded separately, but that doesn't mean I'm going to be picky, or I can't be picky. Okay, so starting out with the video, we're going to be talking about, let's start recording. Here we are. Before we build too much, there are a few things we can take a look at for the layout of an arena. Now, first you notice is the size of the arena. Why this exact size? It's actually kind of interesting. If we open up a map item, we can see, if I put it in my offhand, it is, you can see the orange border all the way around. So having a map be the size of an arena, we can actually use those maybe if we want to. We have that option. And if we want bigger maps, we can always scale them accordingly. So the maps are 128 by 128. The new mic is crisp. Nice. And you may have also seen this command block contraption. This is actually a skybox. Well, how does that work? It's just a single entity. It's kind of amazing, really. If I show my hitboxes, you can see the hitbox for this entity. And it's just 128 by 128 inverted block display. The reason it's inverted is so you see the insides. Otherwise, you'd have to have 4. And by doing it this way, if you fly outside, it actually see it all. It kind of has a neat, fairly neat view of everything. I like it. Of course, just a black concrete texture blown way up won't really work in the long run. You can see the individual pixels, even for a fairly flat image. So we're actually going to be creating, over time, we're going to be creating actual textures, high resolution textures. And I think that's going to be really neat for us. Anyways, what we want to do is keep in mind the point of a map. What is the purpose of an arena? Well, ultimately, that's to serve a game mode. You can't really play a game mode if the map doesn't suit it, right? And today we're going to be looking at the map Ruins, as you can see here. The map Ruins was originally a TDM map, Team Deathmatch. And we're going to be kind of adjusting how the game modes work in general. And because of that, TDM is going to be a kill-based map. We'll get into the logistics of that in a later episode. But that being said, I think it'd be good to have a spawn point for each team and then have several good spots for either team to spawn depending on circumstances. Okay. So, Smiley, thanks for joining. I was actually recording a clip for the video. So this is kind of part of the process now. We're going to be jumping back and forth between videos and whatnot, which is kind of nice. So now we're going to be picking spawn points of the maps. So I like to use just blue and red concrete. I think that looks pretty obvious. Now, map Ruins. This is going to be in the video later, but we'll get a little bit of a spoiler. I do have, open it up, I do have some reference images, and actually a lot of them. So let's look through some of these. I like this one, very rocky, very old looking, lots of details, not bad. This is definitely the vibe I want. I want it to be a little bit more isolated. This is quite urban. And there's a few of these that are really this neat vibe. I like this vibe, but they're a little too urban for kind of what we're going. Same with this one. I like the pooled up water. That's a good feature. Same thing here. All of these have lights in them, and it's like it's kind of against the point of a ruins map. This is just a full base. Another really cool looking, but just a base. It's not really. This looks like just a moon. This perspective is insane too. Giant planet in the background. I really like this. But I like these like weird pads. I don't know what they do. But the river flowing through here. Rivers. Vibe is sweet. I love this. And like a big open area with like little small chunks of deprecated machinery. It's like free cover. This is very similar vibe. Open area, a couple bridges to be on top of. Another similar vibe. Here's just a huge cube. I like the skybox here in the mountain. Cool. This feels like the plants were intended. I like it. So does this. Very much a walk into the water. That was intentional. This is cool. I like this. I like the lights on the horizon here. Like, is that lava? Is it like a bunch of city lights? Kind of interesting, isn't it? Then we have a giant space pillar. I like this planet a lot. The bright lights, all of the clutter down here of like little contamination, and these like very futuristic, almost looks like basalt formations. I really like these. And this is kind of like a brighter form of that. A little bit boxier. Nighttime, I like the fog. These areas. That was one thing that the original map had that I think we want to bring back is a void area. So incorporate that. And then this one's less interesting. The foreground is actually interesting. It's similar, but it's actually better because it's all overgrown. I love the skybox on this. This part does. And this is similar vibe. I like the trails in the sky. And that's it. Okay. So we've got all of that kind of set up. Got some reference images. I'll be looking at them, but we'll actually be using them. Grab sounds just a little bit. Oh, and let's get our music back. There we go. Very nice. So, like I said, I do think we need a kind of like a chasm. This map. So we are going to be building this back and forth into the video. The video is going to be actually from this stream. We go diagonal. Let me get the chunks out so we can space them in like here. The audio stream. It's like dropping frame. It's okay. Okay, so the blue and the red are like that. I'm thinking we want maybe a couple towers. Okay, we're going to go back and actually pause the music again. Perfect timing. That's kind of the track. I'm going to start another recording. And we're going to voice over. All right, so I have the blue spawn and the red spawn, and they kind of are similar distances from the middle. The main thing about the original Ruins map is there's a big void in the middle, and I want to keep that. I think that's kind of important. Very interesting part of the map. I think we're going to just make it a 2x2 for now. And of course, we'll roughen it and make it a little bit more interesting time. So now we've got that void. And we want to give players the choice. Player agency is everything when it comes to positioning. What's the point of a map if you can't have choices? Like why wouldn't it just be a straight line if you have no other choices? So we want to give the player advantages that take longer or maybe are easier to counterfight, or we want to give players maybe shorter distances that are more open, maybe higher positions that are take a while to get to, just different ways to think about where players can go. And with the way we've built the resource pack is if I grab this granite is actually going to be the pathing block. So if you're going to walk in a direction, we use granite or the orange dev block. And that way we can direct players in the tests and kind of think about how players will be thinking, and then later actually texture it, and then players will actually be using the path like it's pre-designed, but that's just because of the way we built it, right? So very important gameplay. Now I'm thinking one of the main important things for this map is going to be height. We're going to want a lot of height. And what's nice is with retexturing granite, stone, we can make staircases. Especially like so. Load it. We have a little bit of a slightly slower. Maybe this goes back a little bit. Actually stack a hole right here. That's 7. We'll do a 7x7 platform. So now players can go just right up here. So we're going to design over time a few different paths that the player can be, and we're going to return. And that way we can kind of get an overview of what the Ruins map will be like. I'll see you in a bit. Okay. That is the second clip, and we'll be basically doing the rest of the stream without that clip, which will be good. Okay. So we've got orange. And for those that are watching the live stream, maybe later, I don't think anybody's able to watch right now. That's okay. I want to design this like a capture the flag map. Yeah. So capture the flag is, of course, a very fun mode. Everybody loves it. I'm just kidding. I don't really like capture the flag that much. But it's such an easy mode to make. I think it has a lot of place in a map like this. So, I want big pillars. It's kind of a design of it. How do the players spawn? Or like, why there? Kind of a good question, right? Like, is it a little spaceship? Is it something that? Really, no. The format of this. Shows the default stone texture. Due to the format of this map, I think we want to draw. Do some terraforming to start with. Terraforming is very important. And I love it. It's fun. I'm thinking kind of like a valley with big base pillar type activity. And like kind of like we'll dip in there. Drink off parts of this. Okay. Floppy, but okay. I want kind of a little bit of a flat area here, but not too flat, of course. So can I do... here? Fairly wide, but fairly flat. There we go. I like it. Okay. And then put this like that back in here a little bit. Clear layer. So when we're thinking about player agency, we can go to the more built areas. Or we can go the more natural areas over here. Let's go ahead and make the flag. I believe the flag should be a little bit further away. So we'll do bigger platform. Yeah, I like that. Copy those. Clone. That. And we're just getting some like a giant deprecated pylons type of thing. Something just a little bit interesting. I think over here is where it's okay if we have the game mode div. Something that. I think that looks good. Now the staircase, we can plop down. Almost like this. Well, actually, well, yeah, we'll put up. Kind of goofy looking. That's okay. We'll just leave it. I want these to be relatively defensible, but also fairly defenseless at the same time. Roughly the same distance. That's a little bit further away. Yep. I would like a little bit taller. I think kind of a little bit of a mini tower for this objective would be better. Yeah, there we go. And to be a little bit interesting, we'll do actually that. Yeah. The blue will have to walk just a little bit further, but they can defend while they're walking a little bit easier. I think that's okay. Before I build too much, let's go ahead and make some cylinders that are quite the opposite. And actually, cones might be better. Yeah. The heights fall. Leave a crack in the... Okay. Now these aren't going to be perfect, of course. They're going to be kind of goofy. Oh. Flatten the top of those a little bit. Less music. And we have like instant mountains, right? Now the scope of this map is already huge compared to the original. The scope is massive. But I like it. Let's see if I can turn this down just a hair. Nope, it's basically 0. I feel like a minus 13. Oh wait, it's a little bit more balanced. Let's get rid of some goofier. Not that goofy. Actually, a void there would be kind of a smart way to close off that map. Blend that together. Very nice. Void it out there. see a little obvious. Okay. Now here's where the kind of interesting things come in. I think we're going to want some big juicy pillars. 5 by 5. Why? I don't know. Just the way they are. We're going to have the base, like the kind of deprecated factory on this side, I think. Will look nice. And then we'll have the like thicker foliage, overgrown chunks, and like things falling apart on this side. Basically, one flag will be easier to defend, one will be easier to attack. That's good. I want it to be that way. Okay. They're one of them 5 by 5s. Now looking at our images, let me see. Lots of slope stuff. So kind of like this. It's like that. And I think if we bring out the orange a little bit, it'll really kind of fill in that space. Okay, so if you can walk up there. Now, of course, that's a huge advantage for, like, if you're sniper and you're going, okay, point's clear. That point's clear. We don't want people to see both points that easy. So we got to balance that out. How can we balance that? Let's figure that out. Let me go ahead and move this up one. There we go. I like that a little bit more. We'll stack this. So, everything a little bit of depth. Not bad. Fill these in. Okay. Yeah, something like that. Now watch this. Wow, so cool. No. I think we're going to do a similar effect. Maybe something like that. Then we can get into our white glass that we have. And we'll there. Try to stack that. How do you prevent players from getting overpowered points of view? You just block them. So if we block this glass, we'd be able to get a good idea of how limited perspective is. But it's still valuable to be up here for information reasons. So you can see. In this, I think we're going to block. We could definitely block, make this like a little base. Like a portable rig of some sort. Good protection sides at the very least. Now, of course, it's quite telling. Glass. So that's another information point of view. You can see player down. I like it. Go ahead and pad that out. Yeah, kind of like that. And then we can have maybe even like a broken ladder. Something kind of like this. It'll work. I should have built that one out. There we go. Okay. Go ahead and make that 3. I like to be able to jump. Now, if we make this a one-way door, in the sense of it's hard to go in, but it's easy to go out, that gives the red, if they're defending here, and they want to go and press their advantage, they can just keep going this way rather than backtracking and attacking the easy way. Okay, let's go ahead and build these out. I think it's kind of weird looking. What? Here we go. Yeah, I like that better. More and. So we're going to be doing, I know I haven't said this yet, but we're going to do a fog effect of some sort in the middle. And I'm quite excited about that because we can some really neat stuff with that. I think we can get really far. think we need a big stone structure in the middle here. I like that. I like it. This could be maybe a vine that you can climb. And I can actually do that. I can grow the vine. Bone meal it? That's something that they allow you to do now. Okay. I did the old-fashioned way. So imagine you're fighting and you get to this climate. It's slow, but it is a fairly direct way of getting there. So this point needs more cover from that angle, I believe. Give you one block. The granite flowing both ways. Now coming back, we do need some sort of defensible pillars. And maybe get a little bit of round flavoring to this build. Not against duplicating this, actually. So I think the idea that I'm going for, and I don't know, I'm just saying I think because sometimes building's a process, right? You don't have anything actually planned and you just act like you do. I think the IGSR is going to be a little bit more like structured here. Dang it. Something kind of like this, I think, is give the players plenty to exit from. Sides. That. There we go. And actually, while I'm at it, I might as well just copy this. Save myself a little bit of time. Oh, of course. A little bit of digging won't hurt anybody. Might as well round that up. Spawning here, yeah, it doesn't really affect anything from there. So spawn killing is going to be less of an issue. I will have some sort of spawn protection. There we go. I like that. The players can go kind of either right or left. So they can go there. And paths on this map will be a little bit more organic. Yeah, I like that. We'll build the terrain just to funnel them a little bit. Copy that up. Go. Actually, I don't want it to be lower. I want this to go down for a bit. 3 blocks worth. Thinking like that. And we'll have a little bit more of a convoluted way to get there. Maybe this will be like a upper walkway. I think one of the key features of this map, though, is going to be a fairly large established bridge straight across. Okay. Okay. Now, of course, this gives the defenders here quite a bit of a lot to fight against. Something like that. So if they want, they can sneak behind there. If not, that's okay. So just something kind of beefy. I like. We can tidy up some. A little bit of I think it's only fair because the red can attack blue so easily on this side that a blue can attack just as easily. I think the only way we can do that is creating another stair. I want a different type though. Something kind of like that. Simple. Hard to defend. And this path will kind of merge back together there. Okay. Okay, so now we have to defend red side. I think because they have so many other advantages. I think kind of goofy like this. Give it a little bit more breathing to that side. Could do something similar. similar to that of, at least, that, where here, swing all the way up. Gives you just a little bit more gameplay up. So somebody's here, they know you're gonna be there. Copy that there. Now, unless they're here, which you're gonna have on protect and block radius. I think this should be the high point path. I think it makes sense if you get taken out of the fight if you go that way. Back the orange. Yeah. Maybe. I don't like this down here yet. Also, this kind of a stickler for. Not that it mattered. Very nice. Very. I think we need another path over here. Not much. Just something to run around if somebody's hard focusing one spot. We'll split this up in half somehow. You can kind of... They're going that way, you can sneak by them. And just kind of fills it up a little bit down here. Doing something like that. Getting an overarching view. I'm liking it. I think it's gonna work. something of that sort. Oops. Okay. Good. I think tying these together is what we want. Tying this platform and this thing. How tall is this? 4? Get 5. So let's make it 6. Do something interesting like this. Yeah, see how that blocks off the view? So if this is like a sniping position, which I want it to be, it's some view, but it's like quite limited. Or if you're here, then the bridge is quite, it's a little bit more vulnerable you are. So good balance between everything. Think of keeping these apart until almost the end is what we want. We do 5 over. I like the idea of this being barely supported over this this void area. I think that's gonna help. So we can even crumble it a little bit like that. While we're at it, we can crumble some of this. Like the structure's entirely fallen into that, sinking quite a bit. We're already at an hour. Wow. I'm gonna get a drink real quick. Okay. There we go. Now, in terms of pathing, is there anything I want to change? I think we're at a pretty good spot with pathing. This needs to be Oh, we need to resolve this bridge. I can do our... We'll give it some little bit of worn down. Ooh. We'll be doing that elsewhere. Like maybe here. Well as here. Getting a little bit of a fence position over there. Okay. Oh, actually, like, obviously you'll just be running straight to it. But you also might be going straight this way. You're the other team. And may even be... I think we want to copy this. Copy the arch. Okay. I'm going to record a clip for the video. Let me start recording. All right, so after changing up... No, let me restart that. All right, so after kind of laying down the paths, we fly around, we can see them. We've got red spawn, kind of arcs around, or you could go this way and then back down. A lot of choices. We want to make sure there's plenty of choices, plenty of places and ways to get from point A to point B. Blue spawn, same thing. You can go left or right, and then right splits off into the bridge path, which is going to be one of the key features of this map, giant bridge. Or if you want to go far right, which even that splits off into two other paths, where you loop around, there'll probably be a health pack back there, or go the shorter route. Kind of similar here, we have left and a right path. I don't have a dev texture for vines, but this is going to be an overgrown map. So they kind of fit. So you can climb up here. And that either goes down this way, a very direct attack to this important location. If you watch the live stream, you'll know what these actually mean, or you'll see and find out in an upcoming video. You probably can speculate too. But it is important for not TDM, but for a different game mode that is not built yet. So anyways, we can go that way, or if you go this way, you can go through here, climb up the stairs, then that even gives access this way. So a lot of choices. We want players to be able to pick and have options. That way maps have a lot of replay value. You can't just run straight to the point. If you remember talking about setback, that had this issue in a really high amount. You just run to the point. There's no other gameplay choices in terms of where you're going. That being said, there are some issues with the way the map is laid out right now. And it's actually kind of easy to fix these issues. So let's take, for example, this point here. If you get to this bridge, which will be kind of a higher value point to control, you have a little too much power right now. And keep in mind, we want to make sure every map works for every class. So if you're a sniper, that's kind of like the one that breaks everything the most. If sniper can snipe at all, that's good. If sniper can snipe everywhere, that's bad. So from this point, with just a few, walking just a few blocks, sniper can reach almost any point in the entire map. He can see this entire side of the blue side. He can see this path on the more red side very easily. So how can we fix that? Well, first of all, I don't think you should be able to see hardly anything over here. I think this should be a very congested area. So all we have to do, and I kind of did one here, is to just add pillars. Just keep adding pillars. It doesn't matter if they're ugly. What matters is gameplay first. Of course, once we see them, we can adjust how they look. We can give them purpose in terms of actual structure. That doesn't matter though. So for example, we can do something like this. Let's get a stack. Just stack it to there. That's okay. It looks terrible. It's just gray walls. That's okay. Same thing here. Now what we can do after the fact is give it just a little bit of structure. So maybe I want this to be a 3x3 pillar. I'll break a couple of those blocks. And that way we can bring it all the way up here even. Oops. Oh, okay, just didn't update. If we now poke out a few blocks, we still want sniper to be useful, right? So if you can see somebody come through that gate, you can maybe get a sneak peek there. And of course, that gives detail to the build as well. Very important thing to do, right? Thinking we kind of want this area in between to be recessed. Let me move that. Yeah, that's kind of spooky, isn't it? So you get knocked down and maybe this just insta-kills you. It's like fire or something. Okay, so that's, we kind of resolve that corner with this. We can do something similar up high. 4 blocks tall. Okay, if there's a little bit of counterplay. So here we can see the bridge, right? We want to see the bridge. Maybe this can be a little bit of a open gap. I like it. And of course, a couple windows. I like the windows a lot. They have a lot of to watch out for. Okay, so now if you're all the way back here, you can see a little bit more of the staircase and whatnot. It's a very vulnerable position. I don't really like it to be that way. So for now, we'll cover it up. It's okay if it's slightly vulnerable. That's the point, but not entirely. So we'll cover this up. And maybe this will be actually a little bit of a crow's nest. Just a little bit. Very limited angles. And limited angles are what kind of help us in a lot of ways to reduce the impact of special characters like sniper. So you'll know there might be a sniper up there. When you're knowing the map more and more, you'll know where to look. Could be one there, 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 there. Of course, there's the bridge. Very good spot still. It's still an important spot to own, to be the one in possession of. But it's not everything. Okay, so now we have this issue where we have tons and tons of open areas. That's where tools like Axiom actually really excel, in my opinion. You can do things like this where you can have fairly tall spikes. And these can be actually, quote unquote, terrain. And let me change that to the drop. Here we go. Shrink that quite a bit. Actually more. Narrow. Stuff like this, where we can actually use them to split the terrain. Give us some mini ravines. Very valuable. And we want to have gaps between them, so like you can actually see through them as attackers or defenders. That gives a little bit of a hide. You can put a turret here, you can put something there. Just a little bit of something to give yourself fuel to help win the fight. Like that. Very neat. Now over here we have definitely a large portion to work with. So something like that doesn't look that great. We can do a little bit of that to help block line of sight. Of course, we don't want to completely fill it up. Just enough to keep it interesting. Okay, here's another tool we can do. We can actually, if we grab we'll freehand select, and we'll actually move this. Maybe that's what, I don't know. Clear selection. Maybe extrude is what I want. No. Yeah, here we go. We can give elevation. So just in a few simple clicks, we have a higher point. Now, of course, we can smooth a little bit. And I should have kept that as sphere because sphere is one of the better smoothing tools. We'll blend that back down just a little bit. Yeah. So we can do powerful things like that where you have a little bit more power up here. Of course, we want to go back to our spikes and add some of them. Very neat stuff. So we'll just keep doing this time over time, keep adding passes, blocking line of sights, re-adding line of sights, lines of sight rather. And you can go really far with a fairly ugly, simple map like this. Okay, so turn the music back on. That was a good YouTube clip for us. Throw this so that we can put health back or something back here. Okay. YouTube's constantly telling me that the audio's not working, and I don't know why. Here we see another example of a kind of bad line of sight, so maybe we can reduce it a little bit. Not too much. I feel like this is a weaker spot to be. I know it guards against this whole path. Actually, here's what we do. Simple as that. Now, you can only attack part of it. And that way we can actually kind of bring back part of the map that we liked. And that was the little cavern area. Maybe we can bring that back in a format similar to this. I like that, yeah. Very neat. I think we should continue the cave, actually. There we go. Very nice. So now we have a little bit of that cavern feel from the original map. I like it. Of course, I kind of completely smothered it. That's okay. Nice. I like it. All right. I think I'll keep working with this map, just toying around with it. And we'll get it to a point where we like it. I think that's a good spot for calling the stream. I'm getting quieter. So I think I'm going to call it here. Thanks for joining, Smalley, and potentially 2 other people. I will see you in the next stream.